incredibly deep connection with the novel. When you set out to make this adaptation, how challenging was it to strike the balance of paying homage to the source material while also bringing something new?
It was really, really important to me to honor the original messages and themes and the characters and the events of the novel. It was challenging in many ways to find the modern day parallel, or to draw an event from the novel and to change it or ebb it or flow it into a modern day light so that we could include it in the film. But growing up with the book and having that novel inspire my love of horses, in a way, Black Beauty really shaped the course of my life. So honoring Anna Sewell's messages was really important to me. So we made some changes to bring the movie into to a modern audience, obviously making Joe and Black Beauty female, which was very timely, just giving a voice to underrepresented ones today. I felt very strongly about, as did our producers. And then the biggest change, of course, is that Beauty's origin story sets her up as a Mustang born free in the American West, and she's rounded up and taken away from her family. And then her journey with Joe expounds upon the friendship that Black Beauty and Joe Green form in the original book. We have more of a through line and more of an arc to their journey story in our version of the film. But Black Beauty becoming a wild horse was not accidental. It was very purposeful, because Anna Sewell set out in writing Black Beauty to make a change for the horses of her time, the cab horses. So we decided to identify an under-illuminated issue that horses are going through today, namely wild horses being rounded up. So I'm excited to see if we can do what she set out to do and make some change.
I read that when you're approaching actors to be a part of the projects, you often write letters to them, and you spent 4 or 5 hours writing a letter to Kate Winslet. What was in that letter?
I very authentically told her exactly why she was the perfect voice for Beauty. I explained that it's hard to sit down and write a screenplay with anyone in mind, and I tend not to do that. But from day one, sentence one, her voice just rang through my head, and I've admired her work for so many years, and her gumption and her elegance, and she's intelligent and she stands for what she believes in, but she has a delicacy to her and such a presence, and I just couldn't help it. Her voice was in my head throughout writing the screenplay, and I was so elated when she said yes. But I went into some of the themes and some of the changes and why they were made in my letter, and I think that I know that she was impacted by some of those scenes with the wild horse roundups, and we talked about them when we were recording her voiceover. And I just think she's a woman who stands for what she believes in, and right and wrong, and beyond being an extraordinary talent, she's an extraordinary person. And I feel so grateful she said yes.
You filmed close to 300 hours worth of footage. What was that process like, editing it down to what audiences will see on November 27th?
It was a year of 7 day a week. My hair's dyed now, but I'm actually going gray at 33. But it was the biggest challenge of my entire career. I've been cutting my own work for over a decade, but I've never taken on a full feature. And I'm so grateful that Constantine and the producers gave me a shot to do this, because I just knew that nobody is ever going to care as much as you do about anything. But with that amount of exhaustive footage for a film that's incredibly unique, where even if Beauty isn't speaking, she's speaking on camera. And that's the way we wanted to capture her, through our photography and finding the authentic reactions of the horse, the body language, the presence of the eye, the Beauty's eye being present, her attention being present, the way the ears are going, all of those reactions and that authenticity was so important to me. But we were constantly turning over. I'm so glad you know how much footage we have. But we also had a lot of documentary footage that I got with my team prior to filming Black Beauty. So we had 2 weeks of full-time doc footage to go through all of that. I mean, I can't find my car in the parking lot, but I have a pretty good mind for memorizing footage. It was challenging, but a joy.
Yeah, you wrote, directed, and edited the film. How early on in the process did you realize you wanted to wear all these different hats? And how has your previous experience prepared you for this film?
Previous experience, I started a small production company when I was 22. I always knew I wanted to be a writer. I dabbled in journalism, thought I might become a novelist, young adult novelist, but then I discovered screenplays in my teens in New York, going to school, and that was it instantly. Screenplays to me are like poetry. So and eventually in my early 20s, I realized I wanted to be a director, but I didn't know right away absolutely that I wanted to edit the film. I had I never thought that they would give me the opportunity to, just based on experience. I mean, that's a huge leap of faith because it's so much time if it went sideways. So I knew that I, of course, wanted to write and wanted to direct. My previous experience just grinding out many, many years of little commercial work that turned into mid-range commercial work, that turned into bigger commercial work, which turned into going out to investors and pitching stories and ideas, raising money for our first 2 independent films, and just developing a style over the course of a little over a decade. And then finally being ready for an opportunity like this. It was the right time. My dad always says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And that was very much this film. Wanting to edit it might have been a secret desire in the back of my head. I know I mentioned it jokingly to Jeremy Bolt in my early days on set, but then I didn't think they would give me the opportunity to do it. But I actually was in South Africa, and I bought a Mac computer, and I cut our AFM promo with the footage that we had in our pre-shoot days. And I showed them that, and then I started cutting scenes. We were shooting 6-day weeks. So on my off day, I'm in my little apartment cutting together scenes, and that gave them the confidence that I could hopefully do it. And I'm so grateful that they did.